So we're currently on the Split Oak Trail. It's a 4.2 mile loop trail. So we're going to take that this morning. And Sarah, what have you seen so far on this trail that you thought was amazing?
The smell. I know you can't see smells, but coming out from the oak canopy into this I don't know what you would call this nature preserve area, it has its own unique smell of the wildflowers around and the all different kinds of bushes. A deep, woodsy, swampy smell. Can't even describe it. But that's just the one thing I noticed and I thought was really neat.
Beginning of the trail, there's a couple of oak trees that Sarah's already taken pictures of, and we'll put those pictures in as we continue our walk down the trail. He's coming around for a close-up.
Now that's something you don't get to video every day.
The beginning of the Split Oak Trail comes through a flag pond swamp. There's a lot of flags and myrtles, some bay, cattails. On both sides. And then as we start getting a little further, it's going to go into a pine and probably oak area, and that's what will be the remainder of the 4 miles of this loop. We may have walked a little bit close to the nest or something because that red-tailed hawk was not happy. A lot of area here where looks like pigs have rooted, especially as we get up here into the more wooded area. As we move into this forested area, you see a line that's been cut here where there's no trees. You see where it's been plowed up. And again, no trees this way. This is a fire break. They did do a prescribed burn here in Moss Park this week. And we saw evidence of that as we came in. So this is the Split Oak Forest. It's a wildlife and environmental area. And this is part of the Florida Trail System. So if you're interested in finding out more about this, you can either go to All Trails or you can go to Florida Trails and get information about this trail.
We've already found a couple of oaks along this trail, and it's really strange how these oaks are situated amongst all these pines. So we came out of the pine forest, we're not out of it yet, and come across this beautiful area right here.
It's a nice little lake right here in the middle of the Split Pine or Split Oak Trail. Nice and peaceful. This is an example of how the Forest Service and environmental areas work together. This is a trail, but if you'll notice, it's been plowed up along one edge to serve as a fire break also. Fires all over the country are a common thing, whether it's out west where you see it on the news all the time, the big forest fires, or whether it's here in Central Florida where summer lightning storms will cause sudden fires, and as well as prescribed burns, which help keep the fire danger down. So it's dual purpose. You have fire break, and it also makes a good trail.
So we're coming out of the pine woods area into a scrubby oak area, and this is another ecosystem. Am I correct in saying these areas tend to be a lot more drier than the pine woods?
Yes, yeah. The hardwood areas out here do tend to be higher. It's a little upland hardwood area. And then what's behind us, the pine flatwoods, would be more of a wetter area during parts of the year. And we've seen some little sink areas where water's accumulated and makes little places where the animals can eat or stop and drink.
We are near the Orlando airport, so there's jets continually flying over all the time.
That's something that amazes me, is that we're real close to the Orlando airport, like you just said, but yet we're out here in the middle of nature. So I think Orlando has done a pretty good job, even though they're a sprawling metropolitan area. I think they've done a good job of maintaining green spots within their city.
Well, Paul, last weekend we were on the Peace River, and we came around a bend in the river and we saw this beautiful white sandy bank. So here we have another bend, and we don't know what's around that bend, so I wonder what we will find.
I bet it's not a sandy bank on a river. Not out here in the middle of the woods. But it's a long white sandy trail.
And this is typical of the Florida scrubland, to have this white sand that you would find mostly at the beaches. But no, it's here too. It's all ancient seabeds. Okay, so we've been walking along pine woods over on that side, and then we come along and to this little scrub oak area, and these are true Florida scrub oaks. They're not as big or as leafy as the live oaks are, and they're really not as pretty, I don't think, but they live and they can tolerate a very dry environment, and they provide homes and shade for the animals and the birds.
And also food, all the acorns.
True.
And it is a live oak, but as Sarah said, it's a kind of a subspecies of a live oak that survives well in the really dry areas.
Oh, and you can feel a nice breeze blowing through these oaks, whereas when you were right out on the trail, there wasn't hardly a breeze blowing at all. Well, Paul, we've come full circle. It looks like we're back in the pine oak, or pine area.
Flatwoods.
Pine flatwoods again.
Yeah. One of the nice things about using all trails as you're walking is there have been several side trails off of this main loop trail, and by using the All Trails app, you really get an idea of where you are and which way you should go. So our main trail goes back this way, but we are going to take a real quick side trail this direction because there's a nice lake view
Oh,
to see.
look at that.
And you know, sometimes when you're really focused on your cameras and your video equipment, you miss some of the things around you. So it's important to always keep looking out. Don't just stay focused on the back of your screen all the time, because you'll miss things if you're not careful.
And he is so observant. I believe this trail goes all the way around the lake, doesn't it?
Yes.
Well, I don't know if you would really call this a lake, more of a medium-sized, quote-unquote, pond.
Whatever it is, it's pretty.
Well, we're on the final stretch of the loop that we're walking around, and how much further back my feet are wanting to know.
We're probably still counting from the end of the loop back to the campground. We're probably about 1.5 miles.
Okay.
So we've been about 3 miles so far.
There's another oak tree, scrub oak. It's a little bit bigger than the ones we have been seeing. Or is that a live oak?
Live oak.
Okay, yeah. No, that's... So that one has resurrection fern on it.
And it's all brown, which means they have not had rain here lately.
Yep, and when it rains, the resurrection fern will just blossom out and it'll be all green up on those limbs.
So we saw on the map that they had listed that there was some bat boxes around here, and this is an example of one right behind us. And some people may think, well, why would you want to have a bat box? Well, bats help in pollination. They also help in keeping down insect populations, because a bat can eat almost its weight in insects in a night when it's out flying around. So they've installed things like this to encourage bats to come into the area and help keep the park pollinated and help keep the insects down.
Bat box.
Okay.
Well, we completed the loop, honey, and we're on our way back. It's only about 3/4 mile back to the gate,
Right,
and then we have to walk back to our campsite.
which is a whopping maybe 1/10 of a mile.
But it's been a good walk. It's like mid-March, and the weather's just been gorgeous. We started out a little cool this morning, but it's about midday almost, and it's warmed up quite nicely. What do you, last thoughts?
Only to say, like everybody, for a lot of people we've seen out here today, get out and enjoy nature. Get out and explore your backyard and see what there is near you. You can find county parks, you can find hiking trails all over. Look for some close and just get out and get active.
Okay, well, and we will see you all on the trail, on the road, wherever.
As we always say,
Bye,
y'all.
y'all.